first thing I wanted to start out with is the settings I used for this session. Temperature is a big deal at this track, so this is just from the forum posting for it. Date and time, I would set this up for any practice that you do. I set my session for 9 a.m., which will be... Track's still a little bit cool. I think the track temp was around 80 degrees for most of these laps, but the temperature skyrockets as you get closer to noon real time. I think I did a session that was up to like 120 degrees or so, and obviously that's going to affect lap time quite a bit, so I wouldn't worry as much about lap time. It'll also affect overall grip level and how you're able to handle certain parts of the track, but these are settings I would use. February 27th, 2021. Set it for whatever time you want. We'll have to figure out who's going to do what stint. But going into the actual race, or the replay, I got 3 laps here. I'm just going to try and walk you through it. Know that by no means am I an expert at this. I just started running the track yesterday, but I've kind of picked up some good points for it. So here we are, headed to the start-finish line. Great, finishing the lap. There's a few things to look for here. You can kind of see the sand that's on the track. Really at the end of that is where I found fairly comfortable to brake. If you get closer to the 50, it seems to get extremely loose under braking. Carrying speed through this turn is a pretty big deal because you have a really long straightaway after this. It's going uphill. So you want to carry as much speed as you can. But as you see, I'm braking right at where the end of that sand was. You're going to go from 4th gear down to 2nd. I took way too much curb there. You honestly probably want to avoid almost every curb on this track. It will unsteady the car and try and kill you, especially up on the mountain. But this lap, I took a little bit too much curb there. You want to really track out as much as you can, carry as much speed as possible. Head up this hill. You're not going to get over 5th gear here. You're just not going to get over 5th gear here. So a couple points I look for here. This 100 braking sign, and there's this little cutout in the concrete here. I found you can go past 100 if you wait until this concrete thing. You can do it and get slowed down enough, but you want to probably brake a little bit before that. And you're going to drop it down to 3rd gear here. So you can see I actually did it all the way up to the where that pavement is. Down to 3rd gear. Again, this curb, and you can just look at it. You can see how it slopes out and how raised it is. You want to try and avoid actually hitting that curb if at all possible. You want to get up right to it, though. Down to 3rd. Track out as far as you can. Same thing goes on the exit here, but this curb will actually kind of hold you onto the track so you can push out to it. You can jump over it a little bit. You're not at any huge risk for hitting the wall here. Something else I didn't mention you may want to do for these practice sessions is turn off car damage. Like, you're going to hit the wall at some point practicing. Just turn off car damage. That way you don't have to restart a lap. You can just keep going. Okay, up to 4th gear here. This complex here, you're actually going to carry the throttle through this first little bend. It's not until after you get through that bend that you're going to downshift down to 2nd, kind of middle of the track. So you can see I'm kind of feathering the throttle here, but it's not until I'm around the bend right about here that I'm actually braking. Brake straight, down to 2nd, and you're going to want to turn in from middle and get as close to this inside wall as possible. Truthfully, it's about impossible to hit this inside wall. You got to really make an effort to do it. But yeah, you'll want to get back into the throttle as good as you can. Commit to it as early as possible because you're going to be wanting to carry a lot of speed as you climb the mountain. You can track out to this wall pretty aggressively. This next right-hander is going to be is going to be flat out. It's a little bit bumpy, but it's not enough to upset the car or anything like that. You can see how it bounces there. Through here, you want to get out to this left wall. Cooler temperatures and your tires heated up, you'll be able to go pretty much flat out through here. Feathering it a little bit may be the safer play. Obviously, you'll sacrifice a little bit of overall speed, but it is safer play. The walls are narrow here. Here, you can see I lift and I brake ever so slightly. I actually hit that curb again. You don't want to hit that curb. I actually, well, fast forwarded. I think I pancaked the Fujitsu wall here on the left because I hit that curb so hard. But if you hit this line right, you'll be able to carry most of all flat out through here. You get extremely close to the wall on the left side on the exit, but again, you can carry the speed. Yeah, so I pancaked it. Through here, you're going to pretty much be flat out, like always. You're going to get out as far to the right here as possible. I could have gone out further there, but again, play it safe. You want to avoid this curb here on the left. Again, here, you can see I'm pretty much almost full throttle through here. There's a certain level of comfort to go on full throttle, and obviously track conditions have to dictate it. But at most, you're not braking through this section, you're just lifting off the throttle. I clip the curb a little bit, track it all the way out to the wall. That curb you can hit a little bit more. Here, look for the start of this rumble strip here, and that's a good point to start lifting a little bit. This is where you actually need to start lifting. I think I let fully out of the throttle here, but you can go partial throttle here. You want to get into where this curb is. Again, you want to pretty much avoid this curb if possible. You just want to get right up to it. On exit, you can catch it a little bit. And track all the way out to the right. And this is going to set us up for the downhill section, which is probably the trickiest section of the track. Right about here. So you can use where the black wall starts here. I'll wait a little bit longer, and this section by no means am I perfect at, but you want to get as far to the left as possible. I think you can even brake a little bit later than I do here. And you can probably use a little bit less brake for this initial part. You're coming over this crest. You want to try and straight line this as much as possible. Because once you make it over here, there's a curb here that you can really get on top of to straighten your line through this whole section. I'm in fourth here. I think I downshift to third, and then before I go around this right-hand bend, I think you downshift to second. Down to third. This, you can see I downshift to second here. This wall here on the right is a section that I found myself commonly brushing or grazing, so just be careful of that. To here, this is a big point of commitment here. You can see I'm still on the brake. Essentially, the track just drops here. So as you're hitting like right in this area, you need to be cutting the wheel to the left. You either hit the line right or you didn't. But you want to have the wheel cut because it's going to drop and it's going to grip pretty well. So drops, and then once you hit that initial drop, you can see I'm already getting back into the throttle. You're going to get back into the throttle hard, up to third gear. I leave it in third gear in this section. Around this right-hand bend here is, I'll start lifting a little bit around this bend. Don't need to brake yet. This is setting up for the final major turn on the mountain. So I lift, and really where this Falcon wall starts right here, this Falcon wall, is where you're going to start braking. You're going to just bring it down to second. and you want to hug in as close as possible to this inside wall. The exit of this turn is another section where I found myself pancaking fairly regularly if you're not careful. Again, it's probably safe. Rather be safe than sorry. But once you kind of make it around this raised part of the Falcon wall, you'll see is where I'm starting to pick the throttle up again. And again, I'm not going to lie, I pancake it there. That's what happens. I probably got into the throttle a little bit too early. Just trying to carry the speed. This is the longest straightaway here, so you're carrying a lot of speed. So exit speed is important. But obviously, don't pancake the wall. So it's going to take some time. But you're going to get all the way to 6 here. This is a downhill straightaway section, so you get up to 6 and you're just carrying a ton of speed. You're going to set up to the left side of the track here. The grass will end. You can push out a little bit wider right here. You can see you can push out a little bit further to the left. This is flat out. No issues here. Again, sand, which is before this 100 sign, you want to brake a little bit before that, and you're going to get down to 3rd gear here, and you want to do all of your braking in a straight line if possible. Turning and braking's obviously never a great thing to do. So I started right here, so you can see where the sand starts, so a little bit before that, like I said. Down to 3rd, this curb. If you hit this curb, it's going to try and send you to the right, and you're going to potentially miss the apex for the next turn right after this. So you want to try and avoid it if possible. But the second you get around this curve, you want to be back into the throttle to carry even more speed. So, as I said, if you hit that previous curve, it may try and throw you to the right here and put you in the dirt a little bit. But ideally, you're flat out through here, carry your speed all the way to the rebel trim on the left. And then we're using some more sand. The sand starts right here, which is a little bit before the 50 sign. Brake a little bit before that. You're going to shift down to 2nd. So I start braking right here, like I said, before the sand. Down to 2nd. Avoid this curb, but you want to hold it in as tight as possible, and then you're going to get hard back into the throttle, and that's taking you back to the finish line. So I will play through the next 2 laps at full speed. I think I end up having my best lap of the race, the 2nd lap after this. Or of the practice session, I should say. I'll probably provide a little bit of commentary, point out throttle inputs and whatnot as it plays through, though. Part of the throttle out to the curve. Here, a little bit at the end of that sand before the 50 sign. Down to 2nd. I clip the curve a little bit, but track it all the way out. You're going to get up to 5th here. And then a little bit after that, 07562. But again, don't worry about the speed. It's all going to be reliant upon temperature and stuff. You just need to run some laps and figure out the line. Let me know if you have questions.